I've never been a details-oriented Star Wars viewer. By that I mean, I've never been one to really get that excited about a new lightsaber or ship design, or even new armor design. Connections don't make me jump for joy. Learning about where people came from or who made what, that kind of stuff, it's icing on the cake and a lot of people love it. And yeah, some of it's fun, sure, but I am way more interested in story than the minutia that you'd find on a Wikipedia article. Oh my god, that's gonna get so misconstrued. It's why I wasn't upset about the Holdo maneuver, like some people were. It breaks the laws of the Star Wars universe. But how did it make you feel? What gets me, what pulls me into a Star Wars movie is the same thing that pulls me into any other movie. A good story, surprises, and characters you feel compelled to root for or hiss at. I would take a movie like The Last Jedi over a movie like The Rise of Skywalker every single time. And it's worth contrasting. They're very different films. To me, The Last Jedi is a very emotion and story-focused film, and The Rise of Skywalker is a very details-focused film. A tweet Rian Johnson sent out nearly 2 years ago kind of sums up my thoughts very well. Quote, "For me, TLJ 100% distills what the spirit and heart of Star Wars has been in my life. But yes, it is personal. It's a certain point of view, and it has to be. Originals were personal for George Lucas. That's why they're alive. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that and become soulless, clean homages." Close quote. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that and become soulless, clean homages. Perfectly said. I do not want soulless, clean homages. I do not want more of the same. What makes a Star Wars movie great? That's an impossible question to answer, but to me it isn't the bells and whistles, the flashes, that of course adds to it, but a Star Wars movie is made great when it takes chances and doesn't rely on callbacks, connections, obvious directions. It is made great when it avoids mulching over the same shit. The spirit and heart of Star Wars? The spirit of heart in Star Wars isn't in Luke, it's not in lightsabers, it's not in the things, it's not in lineage. I would argue that it's not even really in what came before. The spirit of Star Wars is in the intangible, pushing the boundaries, keeping an audience on its toes. The spirit of Star Wars is found in story. Did the Star Wars prequels continue the spirit of Star Wars? I mean, shit. An entire generation argued for a very long time that they did not. But, they did. Because they pushed the boundaries. They created something new. They created an entirely new definition of what Star Wars could be. And for that, I appreciate them. I would take a movie that doesn't really hit me as much as I was hoping that it would hit me, but it tried new and interesting things over a, as Rian Johnson puts it, a soulless, clean homage. The Rise of Skywalker made me appreciate The Last Jedi even more because of this. I also just have a deep-seated philosophical belief when it comes to creativity, even creativity in Star Wars. I do not believe that an author, director, writer, whatever, I do not believe they should be hamstrung with what came before, or feel the pressure to follow some predictable path, or outside pressure from fandom. There is no one way to take things. There's no one way Star Wars has to be. I want to see what they have to make. I want to see what their vision of a Star Wars movie is. I loved Luke in The Last Jedi. A man whose entire worldview came crashing down. A man who, older and wiser, realized the failings of an organization that he once tried to revive. Cynical and broken. Not to mention, goddamn, Mark Hamill acted his fucking ass off. When I saw how Luke was in the movie, I had zero feelings of, he wouldn't do that. I just don't have that impulse. I do not feel that level of ownership. I do not believe that characters need to be unshakable statues who remain the same idealistic youngsters that they once were. I just don't. And when a character isn't what they once were, it doesn't set me off. I am not, I'm not in their head. I'm not kneeling before an unchanged painting of what once was. I'm taking a ride on what is. When I saw Luke in TLJ, I instantly loved it as a creative decision. It is way more interesting to me than if he took his lightsaber and said, "I am Luke Skywalker. I will restore the Jedi Order." I don't really like The Rise of Skywalker, but The Rise of Skywalker doesn't bum me out like The Last Jedi seems to have bummed out so many people. You know, it is what it is. What's next? To me, most of the creative decisions in The Rise of Skywalker are so insanely unimaginative and uninteresting. Once again, The Rise of Skywalker made me appreciate The Last Jedi even more. As a movie, The Last Jedi breathes new and inventive life into what could have easily been a stagnant and predictable sequel. I want more of this and less of that.